Welcome back to my sewing studio. Today we are upcycling another denim shirt, and I showed one off already in a video that I made about showing you some of the upcycled items that I had already made, and I styled them up for you in that video. And this is the one that I'm talking about. I only have two of these shirts, this being one of them, and this is a Dickies brand work shirt. And I created a Sacred Heart theme on this one. I love the patchwork on this one, okay? And all the little embroidery eye things that I've did there with my machine, the patchwork. I love it. It's really fun and eclectic. So I have this one here. This one's a Levi's brand. So anyhow, I thrifted this shirt, and I really like these shirts, and I like the oversized look that they have. I like how they distress. I like how they bleach. And I like that this one's a little bit lighter than this one. Right? Because this one's darker. So I'm going to go ahead and upcycle this one. The theme of this one, as I'm sure you saw already from my thumbnail, is a puppet theme. So in Voodoo, there are voodoo dolls, and usually they are meant for different deeds. But puppets in that same religious belief are for wealth, prosperity, health, that type of thing. So I want to put puppets all over this and charm those puppets to have all of that prosperity, wealth, health, all of the above. And so that's what I'm going to do. That is my witchy upcycle for today. And I actually don't know how long it's going to take. Usually all of these projects take way more than one day, but that's what we're going to do. So, what do you think? I'm thinking, like, should I bleach it now or later? I'm stumped now. I don't know what to do. Let me think about that. Okay, I've had a moment to think about it, and I think I'm going to bleach it after. Because I do like it when the decorative patchwork that I've done also gets bleached. So, yeah, I think I'm going to do it after. I might change my mind. That happens around here. So, first, remove the pockets, and then start making the poppets, okay? It is my understanding that voodoo dolls and poppets have different intentions. Voodoo dolls can be used for positive or negative purposes. Poppets, on the other hand, are often specifically crafted for positive, healing, or protective purposes. Their jobs or goals can differ based on the practitioner's intent. And I'm the practitioner, and I have stated my intent. You know, and also I just wanted to share that in Guatemala, they make these little worry dolls. And you're supposed to tell them your worries before you go to bed and place them under your pillow. And by morning, they would have taken your worries. They would have absorbed it into themselves. I do believe dolls are magic. You know, let me show you this. I have this baby up here, and it may have come out in other videos, but I get mixed reviews on the baby. It's a doll. It's a weighted doll, so it's quite heavy. And when it was gifted to me, I had to bring it home and I was in the airport, and somebody freaked out that I had this doll, that I was carrying it. She like jumped back, which is so weird. My wife hates dolls. She is kind to this doll, but she can only do it in small spurts because it's uncomfortable. I don't know. I don't get it. So I have a spiritual mother who adopted me, and she teaches me all about magic. She has gifted me so many magical things, my entire tarot collection, and so many things. And she teaches me about magic, and it changed my life. Really, truly, it did. And so we met up in Sedona for a weekend to do this ritual where she adopted me and became my spiritual mother. And she did that all on her own. It was her idea, and she's incredible for it. I had a very traumatic childhood, and it was all at the hands of my parents. And think of some of the greatest evils a child can endure. I've been there. And so she decided to do this for me. It's something that she felt came to her to do, and so she took me out there. And we were by a mountain doing this ritual. My wife was there to bear witness. It was wonderful. It was magical. And she gifted me this baby as a part of that. And she wanted me to see it as my child self. And I mean, she took the baby shopping. Okay, this is an actual silver baby bracelet that we got at one of those shops that they have in Sedona that are, a silversmith jewelry by native people, and bought her clothes and just spoiled her, and wanted me to know that this doll was meant for me to create new memories. And just that she thought of that, just that she did that, how could I say no? How I took it and accepted it. And from time to time, when things come up for me, I talk to her face to face and let her know how incredible she's going to grow up to be, and how magical she ends up being, and how beautiful life is going to be, that she's going to get to have so many different experiences and be in a loving relationship. And sometimes my wife will hold her and tell her how special she is. And so, it's puppet therapy. Puppet therapy, right? So it's not for nothing. I think therapy uses that for a reason. I think that there's something to it, and it works. Even if it is just placebo, it's an effect and it works, right? It's very sweet. I'll never get rid of it. And so she lives here in my studio, and she looks down at everything that I'm doing, and she gets to bear witness to who she becomes, right? And she's very spoiled. My sister just went to Japan and brought her back a kimono, so she gets to play dress up, because I never got to play dress up. I never got to be an individual. So that's something that I felt called to share. I didn't think I was going to share that, because I'm sitting here talking about puppets and voodoo dolls and just dolls culturally, right? So they have power, they are special, and yeah, that's all I wanted to share on that topic. I'm going to keep picking these pockets off, and then we'll get to puppet making. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. This is the fabric that I decided to use. I'm going to stencil on my poppets and applique. I added some stars and hearts to the theme here, and I'm just adding interfacing to give the fabric more structure for my applique. And as always, when trying to create something magical and charmed, I like to keep my vibe up, and I do that by playing really good music that I love to just kind of dance to. Y'all make your body bounce like ball, better than them staying off no rival.
Girl, make your body bounce like ball. Better than them staying off no rival. Girl, make your body bounce like ball. Better than them staying off no rival. Girl, make your body bounce like ball. Better than them staying off no rival.
Okay, the pockets are off. And now I'm going to show you that, oh, I wasn't ready. These are the stencils that I drew out, just kind of freehanded as best I could, a shape for a poppet. This is the largest one that I decided to use, just kind of like the poppet example that I showed you earlier. And this is, I only made one of these the largest ones, and these two size, so 3 different sizes. All right, like you saw in my video, you saw the fabric. I laid it out and traced my stencils onto the fabric, and I cut all that out. As a part of that, I squoze in some stars and hearts along with the poppets, right? That took a long time to trace and cut out all of the pieces. And I didn't just stop there. I made a bunch of other little appliques. So I want abundance to be represented on my shirt. So I created these, I know I saved stuff. So I took a printout of something that represents abundance, right? Financial wealth. And it's this little like money bag. And so I created it out of 2 different fabrics. As you could see, I cut out the negative space in the center. That's the best idea I could come up with. So I cut out, right, that. I traced it, cut it out, and then stitched it in the center. That was very time consuming, but that's just my style. So I made these little money bags that I'll put around the shirt. Now, I haven't decided, but I opted for this symbol to mean health, and I cut it out of a red fabric, right? Okay, and I cut out the center instead of, and I'm going to do the same thing, right? Once I put it on the shirt, I'll be stitching the inside as well as the perimeter. So this is for good health. It's a symbol for that. That's the one I went with. And I went with the Ankh to represent life, right? These are all the aspects that I want to be amplified on this poppet themed top. So I did that. And I made eyes for protection. So I have health, financial wealth, life, and protection that will be represented with these appliques. And I also decided to utilize the little cutouts. Why not? I made this many poppets, and I put, I hope you could see, stars and moons, right, on them. A little bit of patchwork because I like that, right? So there's a bunch of little poppets that I will be putting onto the shirt. That's the smallest size. And then I made this other medium size the same way. And to stitch each little tiny patch is time consuming, but I think it's worth it. And here's the larger poppet that I'm going to put on the back of the shirt. So I made one large one, like I said, and that will get centered on my shirt. And you know, everything will be placed randomly along with the other appliques. And okay, so just like how this sketch has these little lines, I'm going to stitch the perimeter on with my gold thread, and then I'll put those little details on there too. Same for the eye. When I go to stitch it on, I will sew the perimeter and then I'll give it eyelashes. That'll get stitched on, embroidered on once it's on the shirt. I wanted to show you, I've only made one poppet before, and I think it was this stencil that I used. I made it as an accessory to match a ritual cloak that I made. It was a very fun one. And I used all the scrap pieces of the material that I used for that cloak just to kind of sprinkle it all over. This is the back of the poppet, and I put a little kind of button here, and you can open it, and there's a little pocket, very little, and you put your petition in it, kind of like a worry doll, right? You tell it its worries, it takes it away. This poppet is meant to grant wishes, so you could place whatever you want granted in there. And yeah, you could put your petition in there. His hat, I made him a little witch's hat to kind of match the witch's hat that I made for that whole ensemble. And I just kind of embellished him with different like little beads and coins. I gave him a face, these little buttons, and a smile, a moon for a smile, and stars. So here you could see how I just cut a circle around the star that is printed on this fabric, right? And it's stitched into a circle. That's fine. You can do that. It will take you so much more less time than tracing a tiny star, you know? But it's just what I'm in the mood for. And these tiny little appliques, I felt like just were that much more special on this project due to the detail. So you can't really tell because he's black, but I made a tiny poppet for him, and this is stuffed. It's a whole another poppet stuffed, and I stitched it onto him, so he even has a poppet. Now, there's one more thing I want to show you, because, you know, these are all scraps. I ended up making these little poppet earrings to match. I just really liked this really iridescent fun fabric that I was using, and I just made these little poppet earrings. I gave them a heart and these little charms here. The back the same, you know, so same for this earring. And they are super fun, and they are stuffed, and I love them. So just different ideas on how to use your poppet stencil. He's so much fun. He's a delight. He's just meant to bring joy. And so when we did the emoji jacket and the stuffing that was reserved from that project, when I did a project like that, I repurposed that stuffing. So my gosh, it's endless possibilities with this upcycling, and you can utilize it for your craft, which is so awesome, okay? And you're helping out by salvaging a lot of these products. So next, I'm going to see kind of where I want things on the shirt and start stitching the poppets onto them. And I'm going to start with the large one, since that's going to take up the back part. I will try my best to get better at being in the shot, but I hope that at the very least you can see what I'm showing you. I'm trying to get better at it, guys. All right, so this is how I'm thinking about putting the poppet. I think I want to kind of not like up here, because, you know, hair, scarves, kind of want to center it to the back a bit. So let's say maybe there for this one, right? Okay. Now, I don't know that these are tutorials, but I'm definitely sharing my ideas and my process. That looks good to me. I feel strongly about this decision. Now, another way or another idea could just be to boom, kind of do this. I wish I could get feedback. I wish I could talk to you guys about this. But I think I'm going to center it, and then all the other ones are going to be kind of wacky, placed all over the place. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. So, and on the back, you could really tell and see like the amount of stitching that all of this takes just to get it on. It's because, I don't know, I just really want it to be secure. I want it to fray as when it washes. I want it to fray, but I just don't want anything to fall off, and I need the stitching to really hold the shape. So it's a little bit overkill. I'm going through thread like crazy, but it's the way I've decided, okay, to do it. So I'm sticking with it. So I think I'm just going to do this first, get it on there, and then start kind of putting other patches on. And I'll just show you what it's looking like along the way rather than just showing you every stitch, right? So let me do that. Okay, this is where I'm at so far. This is where I've decided to place the poppets on the back of the shirt. It's not finished, of course. I don't have my symbols placed on here yet, but I just wanted to show kind of where I've decided to place these. I try to be as random as possible. And now that that is done, I will be deciding where to put the poppets in the front. And I'll try to be as random and scattered as much as I can get. But I love, a collage look, mural look. So that's why I try to place as many as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same for the front. And then after that, I'll show you once I'm done with that. And then after that, I'll place my applique symbols of money, life, health, wealth, protection, all that stuff. So this is where I'm at so far. I really like how long this shirt is. It's cool. So I'll show you that next. Okay, here you could see how I stitched on a couple of poppets on the pockets. I left the borders free and then I sewed the pocket on. So now I can stitch the poppet, the entire perimeter of it, to the shirt now that the pocket is on. I think it came out good. I'm glad I decided to take the pockets off so I can do that. Okay, this is the front. I've placed the poppets where I think I'm most happy with them there. So yeah, this is the front. I put one overlapping this shoulder here, and now I'm going to go around and place my symbols in various places all around. Just scatter them around the front and the back. So the rest of the applique, and just finish the embroidery to a lot of them. So I will show you that next. Okay, this is where I'm at so far with all of the extra symbols and applique. As you can see here, I can do more. I can put more. But I'm going to sleep on it and think about it to see if I am, because I still have to do my bleaching. That's also going to add to the visual part of all of this. And here's the front. I'm very happy with it. I like it. I don't want to go for too much symmetry. I want it to look very much like a collage. And, that's why there's only one eye instead of the two. And yeah, I spelled out love in a couple places on the shirt. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with how it came out. Yeah, so this is where I'm at. Tomorrow I will go ahead and start doing the bleaching. And that's a little, I'm not sure how it's going to go because now it's so overcrowded, but it's going to go well. It's going to look nice. If it's anything like my last piece, it's going to be great. Now, this piece I did distress a bit in different areas and added patches. I think on this one I'll distress certain areas, but I might not do like big holes. I haven't decided yet, but I'll probably distress like the cuffs and the button area and the collar. So yeah, I love a distress look. And I was looking at it from like I had it over here away from me, and the back of the shirt's just slightly longer than the front. I just think that's so cool. I like that cut. Yeah, so this is where it's at. I'm loving it. And I don't know. I'm very excited with how it's going so far. So tomorrow I'll come in and do the distressing and then the bleaching. And I will have you along for that too. So yeah, it's very tedious and a lot of work to do all of the stitching because I'm drawing essentially, and or tracing, I should say tracing, but I think it's worth it. I really do. You know, if I was just stitching squares, I think I don't know. Honestly, it's tedious, but I think all the little details are making it worth it. I hope you think so too. So yeah, I might do more. I might come back down in the morning and think I want to do more. And I can, and I might. So I don't know. We'll see. But this is where I'm at so far. I'm going to call it a day for now and come back, hopefully finish it off tomorrow and have it styled. So very excited to have it done. Okay, it's morning and I've had some time to think about it. I am going to go ahead and add some more applique, and then we'll get to bleaching and distressing, wash it and style it up. And I really do hope that that can all be done today so I can be done with this project. But yeah, let's get to it. Okay, I'm going to do some distressing. I got my mask on because I don't want to breathe in those fibers. Okay. Let's see. I want to do the collar. All right. Let's do it.
Y'all make your body bounce like baller, better than them staying off no rival. Y'all make your body bounce like baller, better than them staying off no rival. Y'all make your body bounce like baller, better than them staying off no rival. Y'all make your body bounce like baller, better than them staying off no rival.
Okay, now that I've lightly distressed a few areas, I can always go back and do more. I'm now taking a very small piece of fabric and applying bleach. Bleach will overlap and get on some of these designs. It's just how it happens, but that's okay. Making the rag smaller is just helping me to control you know, the bleach, as it gives me a little bit more control rather than having a huge towel in my hand. And I'm just placing it in the more open denim areas, and it will start changing colors. If you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much. Here it is. I really like how it came out. As I was filming my reveal shots, I really wished I had time or taken the time to make a poppet, you know, out of the large stencil, like how I showed you with my black poppet, just so that it has one to match. And then I was thinking, like, wouldn't it be cool if the poppet was kind of like a clutch bag in that it just held maybe like your phone and a couple other things, and it maybe hung on you like a purse. So if that's something you guys want to see come together, let me know, because I'll definitely do it. I'm going to come in close so that you could see it closer now. And that's it. Thank you. I hope you'll consider coming back, being part of my family, my tribe. And yeah, thanks. See you next time.